Creativity is alive. At Utah State University, it can be seen in a general education course focusing on dress and humanity. Today, I'm going to take you on a journey behind the scenes to see firsthand the creativity and innovation students can accomplish with a little inspiration and encouragement. Have you thought about the clothing that you wear? Where it comes from? Who made it? Who designed it? Well, by the looks of the audience here today, some of you have thought about that more strategically than others. But that's what makes the world beautiful. We have choices, opportunities to communicate who we are, what we like, expressing a little or a lot of our creative side just by getting dressed. Picture this with me for a moment. You're a college student majoring in engineering, physics, natural resources, education. Maybe you're an athlete, a football player, tennis player, or run track. You have to take a general education course focusing on the arts and humanities. What would you do? Would you be excited for the opportunity, or would you cringe at the thought and move to the next option on the list if something was related to dress, right? Some of you may sign up and say, wow, finally, somebody's going to tell me what to wear. By the way, that doesn't actually happen. I don't cover that information in class. Or maybe there should be a lot of ladies in this class. Sign me up. With a wide variety of abilities, interests, and most of them seniors ready to graduate, my task of teaching for 16 weeks about dress and humanity and uncovering their creativity and critical thinking seems a bit daunting. But I am thrilled. The faces, the styles, I've seen so many different students in my classes, hundreds of them, and heard their preferences and opinions. On the first day of class, they come puzzled, curious, inquisitive. Some of them even annoyed about what they're getting themselves into. First, students explore their surroundings to find inspiration and engage and immerse themselves in the process of using design to meet the challenge of creating a garment out of found materials. Considerations include how clothing is made and also the materials available. Then they begin to interpret and elaborate on the ideas explored during discovery to create an individual or group point of view. After developing a point of view and finding direction in the process, they brainstorm the various designs that they can create. Trial and error, putting the parts together to create a whole cohesive look. Seems like a really long process before students get to creating and designing a look. But they have finally arrived. The time has come to create. This step can be messy, difficult, but also exciting. Their design starts to become a reality. It seems like right before the final showcase of their design, they need to do a little reflecting and refining of the design. This is where they see how their vision has evolved and if the process of implementation has been successful. This is design thinking. A general education course is the perfect place for this approach to thinking. There's already students from across majors, bringing together the sciences, art, engineering, design. Students address the challenge by experimenting with what happens when a real person wears their design. After these steps, or a version of this experience, they become excited to see what they've been able to create and start to look forward to the fashion show that will showcase their toil and tears. Each look that I have brought to share with you this evening has been designed and created by students. As you view each look, you should know that there is more to each garment than what you can see. Yes, each creation is magnificent, but the students are taking away so much more than what we can see. There are important skills, applications, beyond just learning about the clothing on their backs. The first look connects students' ability to reason and prove that, yes, a parachute can make a fantastic wearable dress. To create this look, the students went to the thrift store to find an appropriate material to create a wearable look. Choosing a material of fabric can be helpful, but the type of fabric, the amount of fabric, and the sheer volume of a parachute, that's a risk. This design team was pushed to take a risk during the design and creation of their garment. Designing for a runway experience without any design experience, that's a risk-taking experience. Often the materials that we use to create clothing are complex and require a lot of time and energy. If North Americans still consume more paper per capita, upwards of 500 pounds annually than anyone else on Earth, there should be a lot of paper that students can use for material for their look. As you can see in the picture behind me, a map and a paper tablecloth can make a fantastic dress. The ensemble on the stage is made from floor plans. Have you thought about what goes into making a floor plan? The different functions of a building that are required? Designing clothing can be similar. Each garment has a specific function with openings for comfort, for style. To create this look, the students had to develop, select, and apply various problem-solving strategies to get the design to production. This experience deepened their understanding of how systems work together to create a functioning whole. Next, think about the process of creating a variety of representations of your ideas. Connecting and comparing them, selecting and applying the appropriate representation to solve a design dilemma. I don't know about you, but over the years, I've accumulated a lot of t-shirts. If you go to the thrift store, you can find racks and racks of discarded t-shirts. What can we do with these t-shirts? Well, the next garment is an example, a representation of what we can do with used clothing. The designer shredded the t-shirts into strips and began knitting them together. This required application of systems thinking. There are a specific number of rows knit together to create a cohesive look. So we can also look at this as a representation of math, connecting a variety of geometric shapes to create a cohesive look, or the end result of this dress is a hyperbolic plane that allows the wearer to enjoy twirling while creating a beautiful circle with the skirt. Looking to the past, the decades of dress are fun to explore. Remember when? The next design is an example of just that. It's a 1970s inspired jumpsuit made from neckties. To be able to create this look, she had to apply big picture thinking, reflecting on the past and visioning to the future. She connected different layers and textures to create a cohesive look, to help us to remember the fashion revolution that was happening during the time. Overall, she demonstrated her ability to reflect on and interpret a time period to help clarify her understanding and ultimately meet the design challenge. Technology is all around us. The advances in technology have left behind many wires and plugs and other materials. The designer of this dress found this medium really inspiring to experiment with. She has a true experimental mindset and wasn't afraid to learn from trial and error. This dress literally makes connections among concepts and procedures and relates ideas to situation and various phenomenon to communicate what's happening in that context. If you start at the bottom of the dress, we're plugged in to connect with those around us. But you'll notice that the plugs don't quite reach the ground. So we can choose when we want to communicate with those around us in writing, visually, or with our words. Technology allows us to experiment and test solutions, just like this dress represents. As a teacher, I have taken a risk. My fundamental goal is to prepare students for the future that demands a creative workforce. By using the process of discovery and design thinking to challenge students to create something of value, they develop problem-solving and creativity skills. Just like the clothing on your back, there's so much more worth behind the seams. Facilitating the opportunity for students to construct and share what they've learned on a broader scale than a test or a paper is rewarding and will be rewarding in their future. I help students achieve success through problem solving, collaborating, and rediscovering their creativity. And by participating in this experience, students will be able to make a creative impact on the world today and in their future. Thank you.